Well, we keep on keeping you company this Ramadan, and this is the final segment of this afternoon's edition of the Iftar Drive with myself, Inayat Wadi, before I hand you over in the next 15 minutes or so to Maulana Yunus Kawanga to take you through to the time of Iftar in Johannesburg. And as we have been doing throughout the month of Ramadan, we obviously recognize individuals, we recognize organizations that do tremendous work on a social level, on a socio-economic level, on a humanitarian level, and more importantly, to make a difference in the lives of people, the most vulnerable, those that require love, that require a dedicated home, that provides them with that love, with that care, that provides them with safety and security. For example, we're talking about orphaned and vulnerable girls and where these orphans are being housed. And at the end of the day, it takes a lot of effort and it also takes a lot of expertise, which requires people who are qualified to provide these type of services, social workers, child, youth care workers, house mothers, all of that, and also people to basically oversee and run the facility. And we're talking about the Beit Halima Sadia Orphanage out in Ennerdale. And joining us right now is Moulana Shakir Paika. Moulana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And once again, Ramadan Kareem to you. Jazakallah for your time.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Uncle Inayat Wadi, into the listeners of Salam Media this afternoon. Ramadan Kareem to yourself and to the listeners of Salam Media.
Yes, Maulana, you know, what more can I say? And I've said quite a bit in my introduction and talking about the Beit Halima Sadia Orphanage, obviously providing just so much, whether we're talking of love and care, safety, and particularly taking care of people who are the most vulnerable. We know orphans, girls, young girls. Let's just talk a bit about the Beit Halima Sadia Orphanage. Give us a bit of background on this orphanage and where you started and where you are today.
Alhamdulillah, by the grace and the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a project that started estimated almost 5 years ago. The construction, 6 years ago, the construction of it was completed in 2022. And Alhamdulillah, we started taking in children. And this year, 3 years in operation after the construction of the orphanage, by the grace and the fadl of Allah, was situated in a very poverty-stricken community. This is where we are. But our objective was to see how can we contribute to assisting 1.2 million orphan children in South Africa by providing at least our contribution as a Muslim community in ensuring that an environment is created where a safe haven, a home, an Islamic home is created for orphan children within our country.
Yes, Molana, I noticed, you talk of a safe haven and safety seems to be paramount. And I think for us to truly, truly appreciate what you are saying by talking of a safe haven and also at the same time in terms of a home that is dedicated to providing that safety, that care, and these vulnerable children. Just give us some information, some background to the children, and more importantly, how how does this actually contribute towards their safety? Because I'm sure, coming from an area like Ennerdale and possibly many other areas around the country as well, we find that young people are the most vulnerable, especially girls.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, Uncle Inayat. One is that we need to understand that we are catering or looking after children, particularly who comes from homes that either they were abused, neglected, or they are vulnerable or they are orphaned. And many a times these people find themselves going in, or these children find themselves going into homes uh, clustered homes where you find more than 40, 50 children have to share a room in a bunk style, and that environment is not created that is family or homely. When we speak of Beit Halima Asadia, I want the people who's listening to envision your home. A 3-bedroom home, 4-bedroom house that we have built, a 4-bedroom house that is built to house no more than 10 children. That we place one mother, a child and youth care worker, which is a professional person that has been trained and educated on how to deal with children. And in that environment, we have a social worker that speaks to the social challenges and the ills of the child. And in that environment, we bring in psychologists and other supporting personnel supports the children by ensuring that we give them nutritional health food, we give them a sound health and mind, and that we psychologically prepare them from their hardships and the difficulty by not only providing them to a house, but to providing them to a home which is family orientated and which they will be provided with spiritual and emotional support so that the Islamic well-being, the spiritual well-being, and the psychological well-being is then nurtured for. In this entire environment, we look at ensuring that this child is now placed where she does not say, I am living in an orphanage, but I am living in a home, a house, something where I can relate, where a motherly figure is found, not a house mother per se that is looking after 30, 40 children, but you have a house mother that is looking after a number 8 to 10 children in her house, and they're eating in that house. There is no communal eating unless there's activities, the month of Ramadan, etc. Generally, they are eating in the home, in the family, and this is the love that must be created. Similarly to our children sitting in our homes that are eating, would it be around the table, would it be at a family time, whatever it may be, but that is the environment that we are aiming to create, and then to ensure that that child goes to an educational center. And these children are placed by us, not that we go out and just take children from the street. No, Brother Inayat, children are placed by our center through government social workers who finds the best suitable place for them. And we desire and we are registered fully compliant with government and saying that we want to adhere to the government regulations, and it is the government regulations that says for every 6 children we have in our institution, we must have one child and youth care worker, caregiver that is going to be there to support them with their homework, be there when they have problems, they need someone to speak to. And that is what we are trying to do. Provide an environment that is conducive. And as a Muslim community, we have to ask ourselves, Alhamdulillah, we are giving to Rohingya, we are giving to the international community where there are challenges and difficulties and hardships. But the question that we must ask ourselves, there's 2 million orphans in our country. What are we doing to make a difference as a Muslim community to the orphans in this country?
I think it's a very important question, a very, very valid question that you raise as well. And it's all about, bringing up a society. And, like you mentioned, it's not only about providing a home, it's about the educational needs, it's about the tarbiyah, it is about the upbringing, and I'm sure in the last 5 years, Moulana, there must have been a lot. There must be quite a few success stories as well. I know it's a huge challenge. There must have been many challenges without any doubt. But I'm sure many success stories as well that you've now seen in those last 5 or 6 years.
So in the last 5 years, Alhamdulillah, we have had children coming in the institution from backgrounds. Firstly, where they were living on the streets. One of our success stories, 2 girls that was living in the streets came into our center, reunited with their family, placed back with their family. And this is part of these were vulnerable girls that was destitute in the streets. If we did not take some of these children in, 4 in particular that was taken in, and Alhamdulillah, we call it reunification, that they are reunited with their families, and then we see how we can support them. And we've got over We have over 100 orphan children who we are looking after, not living in our center, who we are looking after in their homes, in their families, so that they may be in a family environment with their own relatives. But the relatives may be unable to look after them. We go to that extent to look after those orphans in their care, in the care of their families as well. And those are our success. Today, Alhamdulillah, we have a young girl there. She's 3 years of age now. She has came in at the age of 18 months. She has joined us. She's 1.5 years with us. This child has become so attached, and our worry and concern is that how is it that we can ensure that the next 17 years that this child is with us, we are going to provide for this child, ensure that this child grows up to become a good role model to society and a valued contributor to society at large, inshallah. And this is why we are asking or coming to yourself, to the Uncle Inayat and the listeners of Salam Media, to make our plea and our challenges that we are facing in running an orphanage of this nature that is not funded by government, but alhamdulillah through the generosity of the Muslim community of South Africa and sometimes abroad as well, to continue to support our needs, and so that we can not only feed them, not only provide for them in terms of education, but also to ensure that they become valuable contributors to society, inshallah.
Inshallah, and I'm sure that Moulana, looking at obviously the tremendous effort that is taking place, and it's a holistic effort. You mentioned things like qualified social workers, child youth care workers. These are all specialists, house mothers who know how to deal. So it's professionalism all the way. And, inshallah, I know that, these success stories will see a lot more actually coming out. And I'm just looking at some of the visuals. Alhamdulillah, it's been pretty impressive in terms of the building, and also looking at some of the living conditions of these children. But also, I think, like you mentioned, is without the help of a donor community, all of this wouldn't be possible. And I'm sure, Molana, that, at this point in time, and also to give you the opportunity to make that urgent appeal, to make that plea to the donor community to come forward and support a bit Haleema Sadia Orphanage.
Yes, we have 50 children, orphan children, vulnerable, destitute in our care, and all zakatable, 100% zakatable. We are simply saying the operational cost to house these children here, excluding co-curriculum activities, extra programming, just to them provide for them education, their schooling, their going to the madrasa, their transport, and their medical bill. We have worked it out to a basic minimum cost of 18,000 rand a year. We know that we spend more on our children in a year. So it's 18,000 rand a year per orphan. We are asking, if we can, by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the assistance of the listeners of Salam Media today, if we can then raise money for at least 20 orphans in the last 10 days of Ramadan, if we can get sponsorship for the year for 2 orphans every day in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and if we are unable to come up with the 18,000 rand that we are asking for, Uncle Inayat, we are asking that if we can then pledge to supporting at least by feeding the orphan child in the month of Ramadan, in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and beyond it, in the Ramadan we are saying it's 30 a day to feed an orphan. And outside of Ramadan, if people want to, they can contact us and we can tell them what is it to cost. What is the cost to feed an orphan child on a day-to-day basis? But this is our appeal. Our appeal now is how can we raise 18,000 rand per orphan. 20 orphans need to be sponsored. 50 needs to be sponsored, but our target is, inshallah, let us say 20 orphans by the end of this Ramadan. And inshallah, ta'ala, it is a sadaqah to jariyah for as long as this children is around. If they one day become a benefit to society, that reward becomes perpetual for us. And also we accept sadaqah, we accept zakat, lillah, fidya, kafara, any form of funding to assist us to looking after the orphan, the vulnerable, and the destitute. Inshallah. And for more
Yes,
information on
Moulana.
inisght, you have with us, you have our contact details. You can share it with them. Sister Nazreen's number, they can contact Sister Nazreen or visit our socials at Beit Haleema Sadia on Instagram, WhatsApp, etc. on our socials. And inshallah, you can see what work we are doing, and our contact details are all over the socials, inshallah.
Well, Maulana, Jazakallah khairan so much for that. Yes, and we will push it out, inshallah. And also, we have got your details. So, Salam Media will share these details with people inquiring as well. But Allah Ta'ala accept, Allah reward your efforts, Maulana. I know by no means an easy task. Really, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of resources as well, commitment, dedication as well. And Allah Ta'ala accept, Allah Ta'ala reward your efforts and everybody else that is associated with Beit Haleema Sadia, with the orphanage, inshallah, and also to the donor community. Our appeal goes out that here we have it on our doorsteps in our country, and here you have an opportunity for Sadqa Jariyah as well, 18,000 rand per annum, but it's or whatever else you can afford. Malana, all the best to you for the rest of the month of Ramadan, inshallah. Remember us in your du'as. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Shukran jazilan to yourself, Uncle Inayat, the listeners, and we make dua that Allah allows us all to witness the night of Laylatul Qadr. Jazakumullahu khair wa alaikum salam.
Inshallah, Ameen. Moulana Shakir Baker with us this afternoon to round off this today's episode of the Iftar Drive, and straight on 17:31, and in under an hour's time, Iftar in Johannesburg. So I'm going to leave you in the very capable hands of none other than Maulana Yunus Kawanga. So from myself and the team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.